Self-growth isn't just for rich people. Simple steps to improve your life, income and confidence daily. By Margaret Light. Description: Self-growth isn't just for rich people, breaks the myth that personal development is only for the wealthy or privileged. This empowering story shows how anyone, regardless of income or background, can improve their life, confidence, and financial well-being through simple practical steps. It explores mindset shifts, daily habits, and accessible strategies that build lasting change without expensive courses or exclusive resources. By focusing on consistent small actions and real-world advice, this story inspires readers to take control of their growth journey, proving that self-improvement is a right and a possibility for everyone willing to start today. Chapter Outline. Introduction: Why self-growth belongs to everyone. Chapter 1: Cultivating a growth mindset. Chapter 2: Budgeting without stress, take control of your money. Chapter 3: Building confidence from the inside out. Chapter 4: Time management for busy lives. Chapter 5: Communication skills that open doors. Chapter 6: Growing your income with side hustles and smart opportunities. Chapter 7: Healthy habits for a stronger you. Chapter 8: Networking and building supportive relationships. Chapter 9: Learning on your own terms. Chapter 10: Staying motivated and overcoming setbacks. Conclusion: Your self-growth journey starts today. Introduction: Why self-growth belongs to everyone. For many people, the idea of self-growth or personal development can feel out of reach. It is often portrayed as something reserved for the wealthy, the privileged, or those with ample free time and resources. The glossy images of expensive seminars, retreats in tropical locations, and high-end coaching can give the impression that improving your life, your income, or your confidence is a luxury, something only a select few can afford. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Self-growth is not a club with a high membership fee, nor is it a one-time event. It is a daily, accessible journey that anyone can embark on, regardless of income, background, or current life circumstances. This book is about breaking down that myth and reclaiming personal development as a fundamental right and tool for all. Self-growth belongs to everyone, because every person deserves the opportunity to live a life that feels richer, more confident, and more aligned with their true potential. The truth is that self-growth isn't about the size of your bank account or the prestige of your education. It's about the mindset you cultivate and the actions you take, however small they may seem. One of the most powerful ideas you'll encounter in this book is that change doesn't require giant leaps. It doesn't depend on dramatic shifts or overwhelming efforts. Instead, it thrives on consistency, the small daily choices you make that over time compound into meaningful transformation. Think about planting a tree. You don't see its growth minute by minute, but over weeks and months, the sapling grows into something strong and sturdy. Your personal growth works the same way. The tiny habits you build today create the foundation for a more confident, financially secure, and fulfilling tomorrow. When you commit to this journey, you begin to notice how self-growth touches every part of your life. It shapes your mindset, opening you up to new possibilities and resilience in the face of challenges. It influences your financial habits, helping you move from living paycheck to paycheck to managing money with intention and confidence. It transforms your relationships by teaching you better communication, empathy, and boundary setting. And it nurtures your overall well-being by encouraging habits that support your physical and mental health. Far from being a luxury, self-growth is a practical necessity that equips you to handle life's ups and downs more skillfully. This book is designed with one simple purpose: to provide you with practical, affordable, and accessible strategies to improve your life, income, and confidence every day. The tools and techniques shared here don't require expensive courses or special qualifications. They don't ask you to overhaul your entire life overnight. Instead, they offer straightforward steps that anyone can take, no matter where they are starting from. You will find chapters dedicated to shifting your mindset, managing money without stress, building confidence, improving your communication skills, growing your income, and much more. Each chapter is crafted to give you actionable advice and clear explanations, making personal development something you can apply immediately. The goal is to empower you with knowledge and habits that fit naturally into your daily routine, turning self-growth from an abstract ideal into an attainable reality. How should you use this book? The key is to approach it with intention and patience. Rather than rushing through the chapters to finish as quickly as possible, take time to reflect on what you read. Consider how each concept applies to your life and which small steps you can try today. Self-growth is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Building momentum through consistent, manageable experiments, whether it's writing down one positive thought each morning, setting a simple budget, or practicing a new communication technique, will help you internalize these skills and make them your own. As you progress, keep a journal or notes about your insights, challenges, and wins. This reflection deepens your learning and creates a feedback loop that fuels motivation. You don't have to implement every suggestion at once. Pick what resonates with you most and focus on that area until it becomes a habit. Then gradually add more. Over time, these incremental improvements accumulate into powerful shifts that can change your life's direction. Remember, personal development is deeply personal. What works for one person may need adjustment for another. The strategies shared here are adaptable and meant to inspire your own unique approach to growth. You are not alone in this journey. Many people share the same desire to improve, to feel more confident, and to increase their financial security. The difference lies in choosing to take consistent action, no matter how small, every day. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the belief that you deserve growth, happiness, and success, not someday in some distant future, but starting now. No matter where you are in life, no matter what challenges you face, you have the power to create positive change. This book is your guide and companion in that process. By embracing self-growth as a daily practice accessible to all, you step into a life that isn't defined by your circumstances, but by your choices and mindset. It isn't about perfection or instant results. It's about progress, resilience, and the confidence that comes from knowing you are moving forward. This is the path to improving your life, your income, and your confidence, not through luck or privilege, but through intention and action. So, let's begin this journey together. Open your mind to new possibilities, commit to the small steps, and watch how your life unfolds in ways you may never have imagined. Self-growth is waiting for you, and it truly belongs to everyone. Chapter 1: Cultivating a Growth Mindset. The phrase growth mindset has become widely popular in recent years, especially in discussions about education, personal development, and success. But what exactly does it mean to have a growth mindset, and why is it such a powerful concept? At its core, a growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents are not fixed traits, but rather qualities that can be developed and improved through effort, learning, and persistence. It's a mindset that views challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles, and failures as valuable feedback rather than permanent setbacks. The concept was pioneered by psychologist Carol Dweck, who contrasted the growth mindset with what she called a fixed mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that their qualities, such as intelligence or talent, are innate and unchangeable. They tend to avoid challenges to prevent failure, feel threatened by the success of others, and often give up easily when faced with difficulties. On the other hand, those with a growth mindset embrace challenges, persist through setbacks, learn from criticism, and find inspiration in others' achievements. This simple shift in perspective can have profound implications for how we approach life, work, and relationships. Why does cultivating a growth mindset matter so much? Because it fundamentally changes how you relate to learning and personal growth. When you believe you can improve, you're more likely to take on new challenges and push beyond your comfort zone. This leads to increased resilience, creativity, and ultimately greater success and fulfillment. In contrast, a fixed mindset can keep you stuck, fearful of failure and unwilling to take risks, limiting your potential in all areas of life. One of the first steps in cultivating a growth mindset is to become aware of the limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. These are often deeply ingrained thoughts that tell you, "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll never be able to change," or "I don't have what it takes." Limiting beliefs act as invisible barriers, shaping your expectations and influencing your actions, often without your conscious awareness. Identifying these beliefs requires honest self-reflection and a willingness to question the stories you tell yourself. For example, you might notice that you shy away from opportunities because you assume failure is inevitable. Or perhaps you avoid asking for help, believing it would expose your inadequacy. By recognizing these patterns, you can begin to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief based on evidence or just fear? Has anyone else succeeded in this area? And if so, what did they do differently? What small step could I take to test if this belief is true or not? Shifting limiting beliefs isn't an overnight process, but it becomes easier when you adopt daily habits that nurture resilience and curiosity, two key components of a growth mindset. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep going when things get tough. Curiosity is the desire to learn, explore, and understand new things, even when they feel unfamiliar or difficult. Together, these qualities help you view life as a continuous learning experience, filled with possibilities rather than threats. Developing resilience can start with simple practices such as reframing your self-talk. Instead of saying, "I failed, so I'm no good at this," try saying, "This didn't work out, but I can learn what to do differently next time." Over time, this shift in language rewires your brain to see failure not as a reflection of your worth, but as useful information. Journaling about your experiences, especially the lessons learned from challenges, can also deepen your understanding and build emotional strength. Curiosity, meanwhile, can be cultivated by asking questions and seeking out new experiences regularly. Make it a habit to explore something new every day, whether it's reading about a topic you know little about, trying a new skill, or simply noticing details in your surroundings. Embracing a beginner's mindset, where you accept that not knowing everything is okay and that you are always learning, opens the door to growth. One of the most challenging yet transformative parts of developing a growth mindset is learning to embrace failure. Failure often carries a heavy emotional weight because it touches on our fears of inadequacy and rejection. Yet, it is through failure that some of the greatest learning occurs. When you make a mistake or fall short, you gain valuable insight into what doesn't work and where you need to adjust your approach. This is why many successful people view failure not as an endpoint, but as a necessary step on the path to mastery. Embracing failure requires reframing your relationship with it. Instead of seeing failure as a judgment on your abilities or character, consider it as feedback, information that helps you refine your skills and strategies. This mindset transforms fear of failure into curiosity about what you can learn from the experience. It also encourages you to take risks, try new things, and stretch beyond what feels safe, knowing that each attempt moves you closer to your goals. To cultivate this mindset, start by changing how you respond internally and externally to setbacks. When things don't go as planned, pause and ask yourself what you can learn. Reflect on the actions that led to the outcome, and identify changes you could make next time. Share your experiences with trusted friends or mentors who can offer perspective and encouragement, helping you see failure as part of growth rather than as defeat. Another practical way to embrace failure is by setting learning goals instead of just performance goals. Performance goals focus solely on the outcome, such as getting a promotion or hitting a sales target. Learning goals focus on the process and the skills you want to develop, such as improving your communication or mastering a new tool. When your primary aim is to learn and improve, failure becomes less threatening because it's part of the natural progression. Cultivating a growth mindset is not about ignoring your strengths or pretending that everything will always go smoothly. It's about acknowledging that growth is a journey filled with ups and downs, and that your potential is not fixed but expandable. It's about believing in your capacity to change, adapt and thrive, no matter what challenges come your way. In the chapters that follow, you will find practical exercises and real-world examples to help you build this mindset. You'll learn how to identify and shift limiting beliefs, nurture habits that enhance resilience and curiosity, and transform your relationship with failure. These tools are designed to be accessible and applicable, no matter where you are in your life or career. Remember, cultivating a growth mindset is a lifelong process, not a one-time fix. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to be vulnerable. But the rewards are immense. As you develop this mindset, you will find yourself more open to new opportunities, less fearful of setbacks, and more motivated to pursue your goals. Your confidence will grow not because you never fail, but because you know how to bounce back and keep moving forward. Self-growth is a path open to everyone. It is not reserved for the wealthy or the privileged. By committing to small, consistent actions and embracing a growth mindset, you can transform your life from the inside out. Your mindset shapes your reality, and by choosing growth, you unlock possibilities for success, happiness, and fulfillment that you may have once thought were beyond your reach. So, begin this chapter and this book with an open heart and a curious mind. Challenge your assumptions about what you are capable of, and take the first steps toward a more resilient, confident, and empowered you. Your growth journey starts now. Chapter 2: Budgeting Without Stress. Take control of your money. When many people hear the word budget, they often think of restriction, sacrifice, and stress. The image that comes to mind is usually one of tedious calculations, endless denial of small pleasures, and a constant sense of lack. But this perception couldn't be further from the truth. Budgeting, when approached with the right mindset, is not about deprivation, it's about empowerment. It is a tool that gives you control over your finances, allowing you to align your spending with your values and goals rather than feeling like money controls you. The real purpose of a budget is to create clarity. It answers fundamental questions. Where is your money going? How much are you really earning after taxes and deductions? What can you realistically save? How can you prepare for unexpected expenses? Without a clear understanding of your financial situation, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or uncertain. Budgeting breaks down the complexity of managing money into simple, manageable steps, creating a sense of confidence and control. The key to stress-free budgeting lies in how you approach it. The first step is to dispel the myth that budgeting is only for those who have plenty of money. In fact, budgeting is arguably even more crucial for people with limited income. When every dollar counts, knowing exactly how to allocate your funds can make a huge difference between financial chaos and stability. Budgeting helps you prioritize essential expenses, reduce wasteful spending, and build a foundation for growth regardless of your income level. To start budgeting without stress, the process must be simple, flexible, and realistic. There are several effective budgeting methods, and the best one for you depends on your personality, lifestyle, and goals. For some, a zero-based budget, where every dollar is assigned a specific purpose until nothing is left unallocated, works well because it maximizes accountability. Others may prefer the 50-30-20 rule, which divides your income into broad categories: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt repayment. This approach is straightforward and offers flexibility while still encouraging responsible money management. Regardless of the method, the foundation of any budget is knowing your income. This means calculating your take-home pay, the amount deposited into your bank account after taxes, insurance, and other deductions. If you have multiple income streams, combine them to get a clear total. Next, track your expenses as accurately as possible. This is where many people stumble because they don't have a complete picture of their spending habits. Tracking spending doesn't need to be complicated or time-consuming. You can use a simple notebook, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app on your phone that links to your bank accounts and credit cards. The goal is to capture every expense, no matter how small, from the rent or mortgage to your daily coffee purchase. This step may reveal surprising patterns. You might discover that what seemed like an occasional treat actually adds up to a significant monthly expense. Once you have detailed spending data, categorize your expenses into fixed and variable costs. Fixed costs include things like rent, utilities, insurance, and loan payments, expenses that remain relatively constant each month. Variable costs are more flexible and include groceries, entertainment, dining out, and shopping. By understanding these categories, you can identify where to focus your efforts if you want to cut costs without feeling deprived. Cutting unnecessary expenses does not have to be painful or drastic. Instead of eliminating all your pleasures, look for small changes that preserve your quality of life, but free up money for your priorities. For example, if you enjoy dining out, try reducing the frequency rather than stopping entirely. Cook more meals at home using simple recipes that don't require expensive ingredients. If subscription services are draining your budget, evaluate which ones you actually use and cancel the rest. Switching to a more affordable phone or internet plan might also save a surprising amount over time. One of the most important lessons in stress-free budgeting is learning to distinguish between wants and needs. Needs are essentials: housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and basic utilities. Wants are discretionary: designer clothes, gadgets, premium cable packages, or luxury vacations. By consciously prioritizing needs and cutting back on wants, you create room in your budget to save, invest, or pay off debt, which in turn brings more long-term freedom. This leads to another vital insight: small savings add up over time and can fuel bigger goals. When you start saving even a modest amount regularly, it builds momentum. That money grows in your emergency fund, preventing the stress of unexpected expenses such as car repairs or medical bills. It accumulates in your savings account, giving you the freedom to make choices like changing jobs or going back to school. It also can be invested, harnessing the power of compound interest to increase your wealth over the years. The concept of paying yourself first is a useful principle here. Instead of saving what's left over at the end of the month, which is often little or nothing, commit to setting aside a fixed percentage or amount of your income right when you get paid. Treat this as a non-negotiable expense, just like rent or bills. Automating this process by scheduling automatic transfers to a savings or investment account can make it easier to stick to your plan and avoid the temptation to spend that money. As your savings grow, it's important to keep revisiting and adjusting your budget. Life changes, new jobs, moving, family additions, or changing priorities require flexibility. Stress-free budgeting is not about rigid control, but about adapting to your circumstances while maintaining awareness of where your money is going and how it supports your goals. Another common barrier to budgeting is the emotional relationship many people have with money. For some, money is tied to feelings of guilt, fear, or even shame. These emotions can lead to avoidance behaviors, such as ignoring bills, hiding purchases, or impulsively spending to alleviate anxiety. Developing a healthier mindset about money is an essential complement to budgeting. This includes recognizing money as a neutral tool that enables you to live the life you want rather than a source of stress or self-worth. To cultivate this mindset, start by practicing gratitude for what you already have and what you can achieve with your resources. Celebrate small wins in your budgeting journey, such as paying off a debt or reaching a savings milestone. Be kind to yourself when you make mistakes or overspend. Budgeting is a skill like any other, and improvement comes with time and practice. Stress-free budgeting also benefits greatly from accountability and support. Sharing your financial goals with a trusted friend, partner, or mentor can increase your motivation and provide encouragement during challenging times. Sometimes, just talking about money openly helps break the taboo and reduces the shame or fear associated with financial struggles. Many people fear budgeting because they worry it will limit their enjoyment of life. Ironically, the opposite is often true. When you take control of your money, you reduce anxiety about bills, debt, and unexpected expenses. This frees up mental energy to focus on what matters most to you, whether that's spending quality time with family, pursuing hobbies, or investing in your personal growth. Budgeting helps you align your spending with your values, ensuring that your money supports your happiness rather than undermining it. In practical terms, once you have a budget, you can use it as a roadmap for decision-making. For example, before making a major purchase, you can ask yourself how it fits into your budget and priorities. Is this purchase aligned with my goals? Will it bring long-term value or just short-term pleasure? Does it mean cutting back somewhere else? This process encourages thoughtful spending rather than impulsive buying, reducing regret and buyer's remorse. Building on this foundation, you can begin to set specific financial goals, such as paying off credit card debt, saving for a home, or creating an emergency fund. Budgeting makes these goals tangible by showing you exactly how much you need to save each month, and what sacrifices, if any, are required. It turns vague intentions into actionable plans, which dramatically increases the likelihood of success. Many people worry that budgeting will feel overwhelming or complicated. The truth is, it doesn't have to be perfect or all-consuming. Start with a simple plan that works for you. Track your spending for a month to understand where your money goes. Then set realistic spending limits and savings targets based on that information. Adjust as you go, and be patient with yourself. Like any new habit, budgeting takes time to feel natural and effective. Technology can be a great ally in this journey. Numerous apps and online tools make tracking expenses, setting budgets and monitoring progress easier than ever. Some apps even categorize your spending automatically, send reminders, and provide insights to help you improve. However, the best tool is the one you will actually use consistently, so choose what fits your style and comfort level. It is also important to recognize that budgeting is a deeply personal process. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay. The goal is not to copy someone else's system, but to develop your own approach that respects your unique needs, preferences, and goals. Budgeting is a means to an end, not an end in itself. Finally, remember that the journey to financial control and peace of mind is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be setbacks and unexpected challenges. Some months you may overspend, others you may save more than planned. The key is to keep going, stay flexible, and learn from each experience. Over time, the cumulative effect of your efforts will transform your relationship with money and open doors to new opportunities. In summary, budgeting without stress is about shifting your mindset from scarcity to empowerment, gaining clarity on your income and expenses, adopting simple and flexible budgeting methods, tracking your spending accurately, cutting unnecessary costs without deprivation, and harnessing the power of small savings to fuel bigger goals. It's about taking control of your money so it can serve you, rather than the other way around. With patience, honesty, and consistency, you can build a budgeting practice that supports your dreams, strengthens your confidence, and creates lasting financial freedom. Chapter 3: Building Confidence from the Inside Out. Confidence is often viewed as a magnetic quality, something people either have or don't have. Yet, true confidence is less about innate talent or charisma, and far more about how you see and treat yourself. It is a state of mind and being that grows from within, built on a foundation of self-worth, resilience, and honest self-awareness. This chapter explores the roots of confidence, practical daily habits to nurture it, strategies to overcome self-doubt, and simple yet powerful body language and mindset shifts that can help you project and feel more confident. At its core, confidence is deeply tied to how you value yourself. Self-worth is the internal compass that guides your sense of confidence. When you believe you are worthy of respect, happiness, and success, you naturally project more assurance in your words and actions. Conversely, if you doubt your worth or judge yourself harshly, your confidence tends to waver. This is why building confidence starts with cultivating a healthy and realistic sense of self-worth, not from external validation but from within. Understanding the roots of confidence requires recognizing that it is not about being perfect or flawless. No one is confident all the time, and everyone experiences moments of insecurity or fear. The difference lies in how you respond to these feelings. People with genuine confidence acknowledge their imperfections and mistakes, but do not let them define their identity or limit their actions. They embrace challenges and uncertainty as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than threats to their value. Self-worth is also shaped early in life by the messages we receive from family, peers, and society. Many people carry limiting beliefs formed during childhood. Ideas such as, "I'm not good enough, I don't deserve success," or "I must avoid failure at all costs." These beliefs become internalized and influence how we perceive ourselves as adults. Part of building confidence is identifying these limiting beliefs and gently challenging them with new, empowering perspectives. One effective way to begin this process is through mindful self-reflection. Take some time to observe the thoughts you have about yourself throughout the day. Are they supportive or critical? When you make a mistake, do you respond with compassion or harsh judgment? Awareness is the first step toward change. Once you recognize negative self-talk patterns, you can begin to reframe them. For example, replace "I always mess up" with "I'm learning and improving with each experience." This shift doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but choosing to view them through a lens of growth. Daily practices are essential to nurturing self-esteem naturally and sustainably. Confidence is like a muscle. It needs regular exercise to become stronger. One foundational habit is practicing gratitude focused on yourself. Every day, identify at least one quality, skill, or accomplishment you appreciate about yourself. This habit shifts your attention from what's lacking or imperfect to what's already good, building a positive self-image over time. Another powerful practice is setting small, achievable goals that align with your values and priorities. Success, even in modest forms, reinforces your belief in your capabilities. These wins accumulate, gradually strengthening your sense of competence and confidence. The key is to celebrate your progress, rather than waiting for perfection or monumental achievements. Confidence grows in the soil of consistent, meaningful effort. Overcoming self-doubt and negative self-talk is one of the greatest challenges on the path to building confidence. Self-doubt often arises from fear of failure, rejection, or judgment. It's natural to feel these fears, but what matters is not allowing them to dictate your decisions or silence your voice. When you notice doubt creeping in, pause and question its validity. Ask yourself, what evidence supports this fear? Is there a more balanced or positive way to look at the situation? Often, fears are based on worst-case scenarios that are unlikely or exaggerated. Another effective technique to combat self-doubt is visualization. Imagine yourself succeeding or handling a challenging situation with calm and poise. Visualizing positive outcomes primes your brain for confidence, reducing anxiety and boosting motivation. Pair visualization with affirmations, short positive statements like "I am capable," "I trust myself," or "I deserve success." Repeating affirmations daily can help rewrite your inner narrative, replacing doubt with encouragement. It's also important to understand that setbacks and failures do not diminish your worth or potential. Everyone faces obstacles. Confident individuals see these moments as temporary and external rather than personal failures. Adopting a growth mindset, a belief that your abilities can improve with effort and learning, is crucial to maintaining confidence through ups and downs. Remind yourself that failure is a necessary part of progress, and that resilience is built by persevering despite challenges. Body language and physical presence play a significant role in how confident you feel and how others perceive you. Sometimes, faking it until you make it is more than a cliché, it's a way to harness the mind-body connection. Our posture, gestures, and facial expressions send powerful signals to both ourselves and the outside world. Standing or sitting upright with your shoulders back, making steady eye contact and speaking with a calm, clear voice can instantly increase feelings of confidence. Research shows that adopting power poses, open, expansive postures, for just a few minutes before a stressful event can reduce cortisol, stress hormone levels, and increase testosterone, which is associated with confidence. This physiological change helps you feel more prepared and assertive. Even simple habits like smiling, slowing down your speech, and taking deep breaths can help regulate nerves and convey calm assurance. Mindset shifts complement body language in fostering inner confidence. One key shift is moving from a fixed mindset, "I'm either confident or I'm not," to a flexible, growth-oriented perspective, "Confidence is something I can develop." Recognizing that confidence is a skill, not a trait, empowers you to take action rather than wait for it to magically appear. Another helpful mindset change is focusing on effort and intention rather than outcomes. When you judge yourself solely by success or failure, confidence fluctuates with results. Instead, evaluate yourself based on your willingness to try, learn, and improve. This approach builds resilience and encourages taking risks without fear of judgment. It is equally important to separate your sense of self from external validation. While positive feedback can boost confidence temporarily, relying solely on others' opinions is unstable. Developing self-acceptance, valuing yourself despite imperfections or criticism, is the foundation of lasting confidence. This doesn't mean ignoring constructive feedback, but learning to discern which input serves your growth and which undermines your self-esteem. Building confidence also involves surrounding yourself with supportive people who encourage your growth and respect your boundaries. Toxic relationships that belittle or dismiss you erode confidence over time. Seek connections that celebrate your strengths, challenge you kindly, and provide honest yet compassionate feedback. Being part of a positive community can amplify your belief in yourself and inspire you to reach higher. One often overlooked aspect of confidence is self-care. When you prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being, you send a powerful message to yourself: you matter. This might include regular exercise, sufficient rest, healthy eating, mindfulness practices, or creative outlets. Self-care replenishes your energy, reduces stress, and enhances your ability to cope with challenges, all of which contribute to feeling confident. It's natural to want quick fixes or overnight transformations, but authentic confidence is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, persistence, and kindness toward yourself. There will be days when you feel strong and empowered, and days when doubt creeps in. Embracing this ebb and flow as part of being human allows you to move forward without harsh self-judgment. To support your journey, consider incorporating a daily confidence-building routine. Start each day by setting an intention related to confidence, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, trying something new, or practicing positive self-talk. Reflect each evening on moments when you acted with courage or kindness toward yourself. This reflection reinforces progress and helps identify areas for growth. Journaling can be a powerful tool to explore your confidence journey. Writing down your fears, achievements, and lessons learned creates awareness and externalizes internal dialogue. Over time, reading back on your entries reveals your growth and reminds you of your resilience. Another practical exercise is to step outside your comfort zone regularly, even in small ways. Each time you try something that feels slightly uncomfortable, whether it's initiating a conversation, learning a new skill, or sharing your opinion, you build your confidence muscle. These practice runs accumulate, expanding what feels possible and strengthening your belief in yourself. Remember that confidence is contagious. When you cultivate it within yourself, you inspire those around you. Whether in personal relationships, social settings, or professional environments, confident people attract trust, respect, and opportunities. You become more willing to take risks, voice your ideas, and pursue your goals unapologetically. In conclusion, building confidence from the inside out is about nurturing a realistic and compassionate sense of self-worth. It begins with understanding and challenging limiting beliefs, adopting daily habits that support resilience and curiosity, and learning to manage self-doubt through positive reframing and visualization. By harnessing body language and mindset shifts, you can enhance both how you feel internally and how you present yourself externally. Confidence is not an elusive trait reserved for a select few, but a skill accessible to anyone willing to invest in themselves with patience and persistence. As you embark on this journey, remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory toward living with greater freedom, authenticity, and joy. Chapter 4: Time Management for Busy Lives. Time is the one resource that everyone has equally, yet how we manage it can create vast differences in our productivity, satisfaction, and sense of control. For many, the challenge isn't a lack of time but the inability to prioritize, focus, and protect the hours we do have. The relentless demands of work, family, social life, and personal goals often feel overwhelming, leaving us exhausted and frustrated. Effective time management is not about squeezing more tasks into your day or striving for perfection. It is about making realistic choices that align with what truly matters, overcoming procrastination, building supportive routines, and learning the vital skill of saying no. To begin with, prioritization is the foundation of time management. Without clarity on what matters most, every task competes for attention, creating a chaotic and reactive existence. The reality is that you cannot do everything, nor should you try. Your time is finite, and how you allocate it directly shapes your life. This means you need to be intentional about your priorities. One realistic way to prioritize is by regularly reflecting on your goals, values, and responsibilities. Ask yourself what outcomes you want to achieve in the short and long term. What tasks or activities will move you closer to those goals? What obligations are non-negotiable? When you have a clear understanding of your priorities, you can evaluate daily tasks based on their alignment with these priorities. Tasks that do not contribute meaningfully to your goals can be minimized, delegated, or eliminated. An effective method to manage this evaluation is to categorize tasks into urgent versus important. Urgent tasks demand immediate attention, but are not always important in the bigger picture. Important tasks are those that contribute to your long-term objectives and values, but may not have pressing deadlines. Successful time management means resisting the urge to react impulsively to every urgent demand and instead, carving out focused time for important work that advances your purpose. Focusing on what matters also means learning to concentrate amid distractions. In today's digital world, interruptions are constant, from notifications and emails to social media and multitasking pressures. These distractions fragment attention and reduce the quality and efficiency of your work. Developing the ability to focus deeply is therefore essential. One practical technique to enhance focus is the use of time blocking. This involves setting aside dedicated chunks of uninterrupted time to work on specific tasks or projects. By scheduling these blocks in advance and treating them as non-negotiable appointments, you create protected time to immerse yourself fully in your priorities. During these blocks, it is important to eliminate distractions, turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and inform others if needed. The quality of your work improves exponentially when you engage in sustained, focused effort. Another approach to overcoming distraction is to work in short, intense bursts, followed by brief breaks, often referred to as the Pomodoro technique. For example, working for 25 minutes with full concentration, then taking a 5-minute break, helps maintain mental freshness and prevents burnout. This rhythm can be adjusted to suit individual preferences, but the principle remains. Structured periods of focus interspersed with rest are more productive than long, unfocused stretches. Procrastination is one of the biggest obstacles to managing time effectively. It often arises from feelings of overwhelm, fear of failure, or lack of motivation. When faced with a daunting or unpleasant task, the natural response can be to delay it, substituting less important or easier activities instead. Unfortunately, procrastination breeds stress and reduces the time available to complete important work, creating a vicious cycle. To beat procrastination, it's essential to break down large tasks into smaller, manageable steps. This approach reduces the feeling of being overwhelmed and makes starting easier. Instead of thinking, "I need to write a 10-page report," shift to, "I will draft the introduction today." Achieving small milestones creates momentum and builds confidence. Another strategy is to identify your most productive time of day and schedule challenging or high-priority tasks during this window. Some people have more energy and focus in the morning, others in the afternoon or evening. Aligning work with your natural rhythms makes it easier to sustain effort and avoid procrastination. Understanding the underlying reasons for procrastination also helps. Sometimes it is perfectionism, the fear that your work won't be good enough. Recognizing this allows you to reframe your mindset, aim for progress, not perfection. Allow yourself to produce a first draft or imperfect version, knowing that refinement comes later. Other times, procrastination may signal a lack of interest or misalignment with your goals, which is worth exploring and addressing. Creating routines that support your goals without causing burnout is another critical aspect of effective time management. Routines bring structure and predictability, reducing decision fatigue and making it easier to maintain consistent progress. However, routines must be realistic and flexible to avoid becoming a source of stress. Start by identifying key daily habits that align with your priorities, such as setting aside time for exercise, focused work, learning, or family. Schedule these activities consistently, ideally at the same time each day, to build habit strength. At the same time, incorporate regular breaks and downtime to recharge physically and mentally. It's important to avoid overloading your schedule with back-to-back tasks or unrealistic expectations. Allow buffer time between activities to handle unexpected events or to transition smoothly. Being too rigid or perfectionistic about your routine can lead to burnout and frustration. Instead, adopt a mindset of experimentation and adjustment. Notice what works, what drains you, and modify accordingly. The power of rituals in your routine should not be underestimated. Simple acts like a morning meditation, journaling, or reviewing your to-do list set a positive tone and intention for the day. Similarly, an evening routine to wind down and reflect fosters balance and restful sleep. One of the most underappreciated but transformative skills in time management is learning to say no. Every time you agree to a request, commitment, or opportunity, you are trading away time and energy from something else. Without clear boundaries, it's easy to become overcommitted, scattered, and resentful. Saying no is not about being rude or uncooperative. It's about honoring your priorities and protecting your well-being. It requires self-awareness and courage, because social and professional pressures often push us towards saying yes. Practice is key. Start with small, low-stakes situations to build confidence in setting limits. When declining requests, framing your response thoughtfully can maintain good relationships while asserting boundaries. For example, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm focusing on some key projects right now and can't take this on." Offering alternatives, such as suggesting someone else or postponing, shows respect while prioritizing your time. Learning to say no also applies to internal demands, those voices that push you to work beyond your limits or neglect self-care. Protecting your time means honoring rest, hobbies, and social connections, which fuel productivity and happiness. Balancing busyness and rest is crucial. Society often glorifies being busy, but constant activity without recovery leads to burnout, diminished creativity, and poor health. Effective time management recognizes that downtime is not wasted time, but an essential component of sustainable success. Another aspect of managing time for busy lives is leveraging tools and technology wisely. Digital calendars, task managers, and reminder apps can help organize your schedule and reduce mental clutter. However, be mindful not to become overly reliant or distracted by these tools. Use them intentionally, and keep your system simple enough to maintain. Delegation and outsourcing are also valuable time management strategies, especially when you have competing demands. Delegating tasks at work or sharing household responsibilities frees up time for higher priority activities or rest. Learning to ask for help and trusting others is a sign of strength, not weakness. Lastly, time management is deeply personal. What works well for one person may not fit another's lifestyle, energy patterns, or values. The goal is not to follow rigid rules but to develop a time management approach that empowers you to live intentionally, achieve your goals, and enjoy life fully. Start by reflecting on how you currently spend your time and how that aligns with what matters most. Experiment with prioritization techniques, focus methods, and routines. Embrace imperfection and adjust as you learn. Celebrate progress rather than perfection. In conclusion, managing time in busy lives is less about doing more and more about doing what matters with focus and balance. By prioritizing realistically, overcoming procrastination, creating supportive routines, and learning to say no, you protect your most valuable asset, time, and invest it in your growth, happiness, and success. This chapter offers practical, grounded steps that anyone can apply, regardless of how full their schedule may be. Your time belongs to you, use it wisely, and life will follow. Chapter 5: Communication Skills That Open Doors. Communication is the invisible thread weaving through every interaction in our lives. Whether at work, in friendships, or in family, the ability to communicate effectively shapes not only what we achieve, but how deeply we connect with others. It can be the difference between missed opportunities and meaningful success. Communication skills open doors to new relationships, promotions, collaborations, and even inner peace. Yet, despite its critical importance, most of us have never been formally taught how to truly listen, express ourselves clearly, or navigate difficult conversations with grace. These are skills that must be learned and practiced deliberately. The transformation effective communication brings is profound, because it impacts both personal and professional realms. In the workplace, clear communication fosters collaboration, builds trust, and prevents costly misunderstandings. It sets the foundation for leadership and influence. On a personal level, it nurtures intimacy, resolves conflicts, and deepens empathy. The people who can express themselves well and understand others tend to create stronger bonds, negotiate better outcomes, and inspire cooperation. Communication is not just about talking, it's about creating connection and understanding. At the heart of communication lies the art of listening actively. Listening is often overlooked, yet it is the cornerstone of effective communication. Most people listen passively or with their minds distracted, waiting to respond rather than genuinely hearing what is being said. Active listening requires focus and openness. It means giving your full attention to the speaker, not just hearing their words but also observing their tone, body language, and emotions. Active listeners show they care through eye contact, nodding, and verbal acknowledgments such as "I see" or "that makes sense." These small cues build rapport and encourage openness. When you listen actively, you shift the dynamic of conversation from competition to collaboration. People feel valued and understood, which lowers defenses and opens the door to more honest dialogue. This creates an environment where ideas flow freely, problems are solved more creatively, and relationships grow stronger. Moreover, active listening helps you gather accurate information and reduce misunderstandings, which is especially crucial in professional settings. Speaking clearly is the other side of effective communication. Clarity in expression ensures that your message is understood as intended. This requires organizing your thoughts before you speak and choosing words that match your audience's level of knowledge and interest. Avoiding jargon or vague terms makes your message accessible and impactful. When you speak with clarity, you reduce confusion and build credibility. Confidence also plays a role in clear communication. People are more likely to trust and follow those who express themselves with assurance and authenticity. Confidence does not mean arrogance or dominating conversations, rather it reflects self-belief and respect for the listener. Speaking at a moderate pace, using a steady tone, and maintaining appropriate eye contact convey confidence naturally. On the other hand, mumbling, speaking too fast, or avoiding eye contact can undermine your message. Managing difficult conversations with grace is one of the most valuable communication skills you can develop. These conversations often involve conflict, criticism, or emotionally charged topics, and they can trigger fear or avoidance. However, avoiding difficult conversations usually worsens problems and damages relationships over time. When approached skillfully, difficult conversations become opportunities for growth, understanding, and resolution. Graceful handling begins with preparation. Know what you want to achieve from the conversation and plan your main points. Anticipate potential reactions and how you might respond calmly. During the conversation, keep your tone respectful and your body language open. Use I statements to express your feelings and needs without blaming or accusing, such as, "I feel concerned when deadlines are missed because it affects the whole team." This reduces defensiveness and invites dialogue rather than confrontation. Listening actively during difficult conversations is even more critical. Allow the other person to share their perspective fully before responding. Validate their feelings by acknowledging them, even if you disagree. For example, "I understand that you feel overwhelmed by the workload." Validation does not mean agreement, it means showing empathy and respect, which helps diffuse tension. Staying calm under pressure is key. If emotions run high, suggest a short break or agree to revisit the discussion later to give everyone time to cool down. Keeping the conversation solution-focused rather than dwelling on blame helps you move forward productively. Practicing empathy is foundational to all communication. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It bridges gaps in understanding and builds trust and connection. When you communicate with empathy, you acknowledge the humanity behind the words and respond to emotions, not just facts. Empathy involves active listening, as well as putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Imagine how they might be feeling and why. This mindset encourages patience, compassion, and flexibility in your responses. Even in disagreements, empathy allows you to maintain respect and avoid escalating conflict. In professional contexts, empathy can improve leadership and teamwork. Leaders who listen empathetically inspire loyalty and motivation. Teams that practice empathy collaborate more effectively and resolve conflicts constructively. Empathy also enhances customer relations, negotiation outcomes, and workplace culture. In personal relationships, empathy deepens intimacy and support. When people feel truly understood, they open up more fully, share vulnerabilities, and build stronger emotional bonds. Empathy helps you respond sensitively to others' needs and avoid misunderstandings. Developing these communication skills takes time and conscious effort. Start with self-awareness. Notice your own communication habits and how others respond to you. Are you truly listening, or are you formulating your response while the other person talks? Do you speak clearly and confidently, or do you ramble or hold back? Reflecting on these patterns creates a foundation for improvement. Practice active listening daily, even in casual conversations. Focus fully on the speaker, ask clarifying questions, and summarize their points to ensure understanding. This not only improves your listening skills, but also encourages deeper, more meaningful conversations. Work on clarity in your speech by organizing your thoughts before important talks. Practice concise summaries of your ideas and seek feedback on how well you communicate. Recording yourself or practicing in front of a mirror can increase awareness of tone, pace, and body language. When difficult conversations arise, remind yourself that avoiding them only prolongs discomfort. Approach them with curiosity and compassion, aiming to understand as well as express yourself. Preparing key points in advance and using I statements helps maintain respect and focus. Empathy can be strengthened by cultivating curiosity about others' experiences and emotions. When interacting with people, ask yourself how they might feel and why. Practice reflecting back what you hear emotionally, such as, "It sounds like that was really frustrating for you." This habit fosters connection and diffuses tension. Non-verbal communication is another powerful dimension often overlooked. Research suggests that a significant portion of communication happens through body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. Being aware of your own non-verbal cues and reading others can deepen your understanding and effectiveness. For example, maintaining eye contact shows engagement and confidence, while crossed arms or avoiding gaze can signal defensiveness or discomfort. Smiling, nodding, and open posture encourage openness and trust. Matching your tone of voice to the message, warm and calm when offering support, firm but respectful when setting boundaries, reinforces your words. In group settings, clear and empathetic communication becomes even more important. Whether leading a meeting, collaborating on a project, or networking, your ability to articulate ideas clearly, listen actively, and manage dynamics impacts outcomes. Practice summarizing group discussions, inviting quieter voices, and addressing conflicts constructively. Technology has added new layers to communication with emails, texts, video calls, and social media. While these tools offer convenience, they also challenge clarity and empathy because of the lack of tone and nonverbal cues. Writing clearly and thoughtfully, using emotive language when appropriate, and double-checking messages before sending can prevent misunderstandings. When possible, Opt for voice or video calls for sensitive conversations to capture the full nuance. Ultimately, mastering communication skills is a lifelong journey. It requires humility to learn from mistakes, patience to build habits, and courage to engage authentically. The rewards are immense: deeper relationships, smoother teamwork, greater influence, and more doors opening in all areas of life. As you cultivate your communication skills, remember that the goal is connection, not perfection. Speak your truth honestly, listen with an open heart, and approach every interaction as an opportunity to learn and grow. Over time, these skills will become second nature, empowering you to navigate life's challenges and opportunities with confidence and grace. Chapter 6: Growing your income with side hustles and smart opportunities. In today's rapidly changing economic landscape, the old idea of relying on a single job to provide financial security is increasingly outdated. Many people are turning to side hustles, small businesses or projects pursued alongside their main jobs, as a way to grow their income, explore passions, and create financial resilience. The appeal is clear. Side hustles offer flexibility, extra cash, and the possibility of turning something you enjoy into a lucrative opportunity. Yet, there are still many myths and misconceptions that hold people back from taking that first step. One of the biggest myths is that you need a lot of upfront money, specialized skills, or a groundbreaking idea to start a successful side hustle. This simply isn't true. In reality, most successful side projects begin with little more than creativity, resourcefulness, and willingness to learn. The barriers to entry have never been lower thanks to the internet, affordable technology, and a global marketplace hungry for unique goods and services. You don't need to invent the next big app or start a storefront with thousands of dollars in inventory. Instead, you can build from your existing skills, hobbies, or interests, and grow at a pace that feels manageable. To identify a good side hustle idea, it's essential to start by taking stock of what you already have. This includes your skills, passions, experiences, and available time. Often, the best side hustles come from a natural overlap between what you enjoy and what people need. For example, if you love writing, you might explore freelance content creation or blogging. If you're skilled at organizing, virtual assistant work or event planning could be a fit. Those who enjoy crafting can sell handmade goods on platforms like Etsy, while people with a knack for teaching might offer tutoring or online courses. It's also useful to look at your daily routine and network to uncover opportunities. Sometimes the best ideas come from helping friends or colleagues solve problems, or from noticing gaps in services in your community. Don't be afraid to experiment with a few ideas at once to see what resonates and what fits your lifestyle. Balancing a side hustle with your existing responsibilities is one of the biggest challenges. Many people start enthusiastically, but burn out quickly because they overcommit or underestimate the time required. To avoid this, it's important to set realistic goals and boundaries from the start. Define how much time you can realistically dedicate each day or week without sacrificing your well-being or main job performance. Even an hour a day, if used consistently, can yield significant progress over months. Creating routines and habits around your side hustle helps maintain momentum. Some people find early mornings or weekends work best, while others prefer breaks during the workday. The key is consistency and making your side hustle a regular part of your schedule rather than an occasional burst of effort. Tracking your progress and celebrating small wins also fuels motivation. Scaling your side hustle income without overwhelming yourself requires strategic thinking. Growth doesn't always mean working more hours, it often means working smarter. Automating repetitive tasks, outsourcing time-consuming activities, and using technology can free up your time to focus on income-generating work or new opportunities. For example, if you run an online store, Using inventory management tools and hiring freelance customer service representatives can reduce your daily workload. If you offer freelance services, consider creating templates, packages, or online courses that can generate passive income rather than trading hours for dollars indefinitely. Networking and building relationships can also open doors to higher-paying gigs or partnerships that amplify your efforts. Don't hesitate to reach out to others in your field or attend relevant events to connect and learn. Many side hustlers find that collaboration and community support boosts their growth more than working alone. Mindset plays a crucial role throughout this journey. It's normal to face doubts, setbacks, and periods of slow growth. Resilience and patience are essential. Remember that every small step builds skills, experience, and confidence. Side hustles are not just about money, they are also about personal growth, creativity, and control over your financial future. In the chapters ahead, you will find practical tips and examples to help you identify side hustle ideas that suit your lifestyle, balance your time effectively, and grow your income in ways that feel sustainable and rewarding. Whether you are looking to make a few extra $100 a month or eventually replace your full-time income, this chapter will guide you through the foundational mindset and strategies needed to succeed. Let's begin by exploring how you can tap into your unique strengths and interests to find a side hustle that excites you and fits your life. Chapter 7: Healthy Habits for a Stronger You. In the hustle of everyday life, it's easy to overlook the most fundamental factor that influences everything else: your health. Whether it's your energy, mental clarity, productivity, or overall sense of well-being, the habits you cultivate around your physical and mental health create the foundation for a stronger, more resilient you. What's important to understand is that transforming your health does not require dramatic overhauls or expensive routines. Small, consistent changes can bring remarkable improvements over time. This chapter is about discovering and nurturing those manageable habits that boost your energy, sharpen your mind, and help you feel more vibrant every day. The starting point for building healthier habits often begins with your lifestyle: how you eat, move, sleep, and manage stress. Each of these elements plays an interwoven role in your vitality. When you nourish your body with simple, wholesome food, engage in movement that feels good rather than forced, prioritize restful sleep, and develop strategies to handle life's stressor, you lay the groundwork for lasting health. Let's begin with the impact of small lifestyle changes on energy and mental clarity. Many people believe that to feel more energetic or mentally sharp, they must overhaul their entire routine or turn to supplements and quick fixes. The truth is far simpler. Small shifts, like drinking an extra glass of water daily, taking a brief walk during breaks, or cutting back on processed sugars, can have noticeable effects within days. These tiny actions improve blood flow, reduce inflammation, and provide your brain with steady fuel. When combined consistently, they create a cumulative effect that restores your natural energy cycles and mental focus. One of the most common obstacles to healthy living is the misconception that nutrition has to be complicated or restrictive. This could not be further from the truth. Nutrition, at its core, is about providing your body with the nutrients it needs to function well: proteins for muscle repair and hormones, carbohydrates for energy, healthy fats for brain function, and vitamins and minerals for countless cellular processes. You don't need to follow fad diets or buy expensive superfoods. Instead, focus on simple whole foods that are easy to prepare. Fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, lean proteins, and healthy oils like olive oil or avocado oil can form the basis of your meals. Even small adjustments like adding a salad to your lunch, swapping out sugary snacks for nuts or yogurt, or cooking one extra meal at home each week build momentum toward better nutrition. Exercise, often viewed as a dreaded chore, is another area where the right mindset and approach make all the difference. The best routine is one that you can enjoy and sustain rather than something you force yourself to do. It doesn't mean you must hit the gym daily or run marathons. Walking, stretching, bodyweight exercises, dancing, or yoga are fantastic ways to move your body. The key is consistency and variety to keep your muscles engaged and your mind interested. Even just 15 minutes of movement each day can boost your mood by releasing endorphins, improve cardiovascular health, and increase your overall stamina. Moreover, exercise enhances sleep quality and cognitive function, creating a positive feedback loop that supports every other healthy habit you build. Speaking of sleep, it is often the unsung hero of health. Modern culture tends to glorify busyness and burning the midnight oil, but science tells a different story. Adequate sleep is essential for physical recovery, memory consolidation, immune function, and emotional regulation. Without enough restful sleep, energy wanes, focus fades, and stress tolerance decreases. Many people suffer from chronic sleep deprivation without realizing how much it impacts their daily functioning. To improve your sleep, start by creating a bedtime routine that signals to your brain it's time to wind down. This might include turning off screens at least an hour before bed, reading a book, practicing deep breathing, or taking a warm bath. Keeping a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's internal clock. Your bedroom environment also matters. Dark, quiet, and cool spaces promote better rest. Managing stress is equally vital for building a stronger you. Chronic stress wears down your body and mind, triggering inflammation, weakening the immune system, and increasing the risk of various diseases. It also disrupts sleep and drains your motivation for healthy habits. While eliminating all stressor is impossible, learning how to manage them effectively is a skill that can be developed. Simple stress management techniques include mindfulness meditation, journaling, breathing exercises, or spending time in nature. Finding activities that bring you joy and relaxation, whether it's music, hobbies, or social connection, also replenishes your mental reserves. Importantly, acknowledging stress and allowing yourself compassion rather than judgment creates a healthier internal dialogue. Perhaps the most important message about building healthy habits is that consistency beats perfection every time. Many people fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking, believing they must be flawless in their nutrition, exercise, or sleep for their efforts to matter. This mindset often leads to frustration and giving up when life inevitably gets busy or unpredictable. Instead, aim for steady progress. Missing a workout or indulging in comfort food once in a while does not erase all your good habits. What matters is returning to your routines with kindness and persistence. To develop habits that stick, start by focusing on one or two small changes at a time. Trying to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight is overwhelming and unsustainable. For example, you might begin with adding a daily 10-minute walk and drinking one extra glass of water each day. Once these become part of your rhythm, you can layer on another habit, like preparing one healthy homemade meal or setting a consistent bedtime. Tracking your progress in a journal or with simple apps can provide motivation and insight. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and be patient during setbacks. Another effective approach to habit building is to attach new behaviors to existing routines. This is called habit stacking. For instance, after brushing your teeth in the morning, you might do 5 minutes of stretching. After making your morning coffee, you might jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Linking new habits to established ones makes them easier to remember and integrate into your daily life. The journey toward a stronger, healthier you is not a destination but an ongoing process. Your body and mind will evolve, and your needs may change over time. The habits you cultivate today create a foundation that supports growth, energy, and clarity for years to come. Embrace this process with curiosity and compassion. Recognize that each small action, whether it's choosing a nutritious snack, taking a moment to breathe deeply, or going to bed a little earlier, adds up to a life of greater vitality and resilience. In summary, cultivating healthy habits involves making small but meaningful lifestyle changes that improve your energy and mental clarity, adopting easy nutrition and exercise routines tailored to your preferences, prioritizing sleep and stress management, and building habits that last through consistency rather than striving for perfection. This chapter has laid out practical insights and encouragement to help you start and sustain your journey. The following chapters will continue to build on this foundation, showing you how health integrates with other areas of self-growth, confidence, and success. You don't need a radical transformation to feel stronger and more alive. You only need the willingness to start, the patience to keep going, and the grace to forgive yourself along the way. With each small step, you're creating a healthier, happier, and more vibrant version of yourself. That stronger you is waiting just around the corner. Chapter 8: Networking and Building Supportive Relationships. In the landscape of personal and professional growth, one of the most valuable assets you can develop is your network, the web of relationships that surround you and offer connection, support, and opportunity. Networking often conjures images of formal events, business cards, and schmoozing, but at its core, it's about human connection. When approached with authenticity and intention, networking becomes a powerful tool for growth, learning, and collaboration. More than that, building a network of supportive relationships is essential for resilience and fulfillment in life. Your network is not just a list of contacts or acquaintances. It's a living ecosystem that can provide guidance, encouragement, resources, and new perspectives. It opens doors to opportunities you might never find on your own, whether that's a job offer, mentorship, collaboration, or simply advice in a moment of uncertainty. This chapter explores why networking matters, how to approach it with genuine purpose, ways to maintain relationships without feeling overwhelmed, and how to give and receive support in ways that strengthen your connections. First, understanding why your network is a key asset is crucial. Success in almost any field or life pursuit is rarely achieved in isolation. While talent, knowledge, and effort matter, who you know often accelerates or amplifies your path. The people you surround yourself with influence your mindset, provide feedback, and introduce you to new ideas and opportunities. This does not mean networking is about using people or transactional relationships. Rather, it's about building mutually beneficial connections where both parties grow. In fact, your network becomes a reflection of your values, interests, and ambitions. Cultivating relationships with people who inspire, challenge, and support you expands your horizons and gives you resources beyond your immediate reach. To harness the power of networking, it's important to approach it with authenticity and intention. Authenticity means being true to yourself in how you connect with others. People can sense when interactions feel forced, superficial, or purely self-serving. Instead of trying to impress or accumulate contacts indiscriminately, focus on forming real connections. This begins with genuine curiosity about others, their stories, challenges, and aspirations. When you listen attentively and show empathy, you create a foundation of trust. Intention means knowing why you want to build relationships and what you hope to learn or contribute. It's about quality over quantity. One way to practice authentic networking is to shift your mindset from "what can I get" to "how can I contribute?" This subtle but powerful shift changes your energy and opens doors naturally. Helping someone solve a problem, sharing a useful resource, or simply offering encouragement builds goodwill. Even small acts of kindness ripple through your network, often returning in unexpected ways. When your focus is on connection rather than extraction, relationships deepen and become more rewarding. Networking also doesn't have to be confined to formal events or professional settings. In fact, some of the most meaningful connections arise in everyday situations. a community gathering, a class, an online forum, or through mutual friends. Embrace opportunities to engage with people who share your interests or values, whether it's joining a book club, attending a workshop, or participating in local meetups. Online platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, or specialized communities can also be effective spaces to connect thoughtfully and consistently, especially when travel or busy schedules limit in-person interactions. One common misconception is that networking requires a huge time investment or constant effort, which can be daunting. However, maintaining connections can be simple and sustainable when you adopt small but consistent habits. Keeping in touch doesn't mean frequent lengthy conversations. A quick check-in message, sharing an article that might interest someone, or congratulating them on a milestone is enough to nurture relationships. Scheduling periodic catch-ups, whether over coffee or virtual calls, helps maintain closeness without overwhelming your calendar. The key is to be intentional and consistent, rather than reactive or sporadic. Effective networking also means organizing your contacts in a way that helps you remember who they are, what they do, and how you met. This could be a simple digital note, a spreadsheet, or an app designed for relationship management. When you have context at your fingertips, reaching out becomes easier and more personal. It also helps you spot patterns or gaps in your network, guiding you toward building connections that complement your growth areas. An essential aspect of networking is learning how to give and receive support meaningfully. Relationships thrive on reciprocity, but giving does not have to be transactional or burdensome. Support can take many forms: offering your expertise, making introductions, providing emotional encouragement, or simply being present. When you invest in others' success, you build loyalty and trust that often leads to mutual aid in return. Similarly, knowing how to ask for help is vital. Many people hesitate to reach out, fearing rejection or appearing weak, but vulnerability is a strength in relationships. Being honest about your needs and showing appreciation for others' assistance fosters deeper bonds. Supportive relationships also involve emotional attunement and active listening. When someone shares a challenge or success, truly hearing them without immediately jumping to advice or judgment creates a safe space. This kind of presence strengthens connection and makes your network not just a resource but a community. Over time, these ties form a web of support that cushions life's uncertainties and amplifies celebrations. Building supportive networks is particularly important during career transitions, personal challenges, or periods of growth. Having trusted people around you to brainstorm ideas, share feedback, or simply listen can be invaluable. Likewise, offering support during others' tough times solidifies trust and respect. The practice of mutual aid not only benefits individual relationships, but also nurtures a culture of generosity and resilience in your broader community. Another important dimension to recognize is diversity in your network. Expanding your connections across different industries, cultures, and perspectives enriches your understanding and adaptability. Diverse networks expose you to a wider range of ideas and opportunities, challenge your assumptions, and foster creativity. When you intentionally seek relationships outside your immediate social or professional circles, you broaden your worldview and enhance your problem-solving skills. At times, you may encounter difficult or toxic relationships that drain your energy or hinder your progress. Recognizing when a connection is harmful or unbalanced is part of healthy networking. Setting boundaries and, if necessary, disengaging with respect protects your well-being. Prioritizing relationships that nourish you is key to sustaining your personal and professional growth. As you build your network, remember it's not just about collecting contacts but cultivating connections that matter. Think of your network as a garden that requires care, attention, and patience. Seeds planted today may take time to grow, but with consistent nurturing, the harvest can be abundant. To help you implement these ideas, start by reflecting on your current network. Who are the people you feel most supported by? Which relationships have helped you learn or grow? Are there connections you've neglected that you could re-engage? Consider reaching out to one person this week with a genuine message or offer of help. Notice how it feels to prioritize connection over transaction. Also, identify where you want your network to grow. Are there fields or communities you want to explore? What skills or knowledge would you like to gain from new relationships? Setting clear intentions will guide your actions and make networking less random and more purposeful. Over time, you'll notice that networking and building supportive relationships becomes less about effort and more about joy. The friendships, collaborations, and mentorships you create enrich your life in ways that go beyond career advancement or financial gain. They add meaning, connection, and fulfillment. In conclusion, your network is one of your greatest assets for growth and opportunity. Approaching networking with authenticity and intention creates deeper, more rewarding connections. Maintaining relationships is manageable with small, consistent efforts that fit into your life. Giving and receiving support strengthens bonds and fosters a community of trust and generosity. By nurturing a diverse, vibrant network, you not only open doors for success but also build a support system that sustains you through life's challenges and triumphs. The journey of networking is ultimately a journey of human connection, learning to give, receive, listen, and contribute. As you cultivate these skills, you will find yourself surrounded by people who believe in your potential and who inspire you to be your best self. This chapter invites you to embrace networking not as a chore, but as an opportunity to build a richer, more connected, and empowered life. Chapter 9: Learning on Your Own Terms. In today's rapidly changing world, the traditional model of education, complete formal schooling by a certain age, is no longer enough to prepare us for the challenges and opportunities we face. The truth is, learning is no longer confined to classrooms, textbooks, or fixed curricula. Lifelong learning has become essential, not just for career advancement, but for personal fulfillment, adaptability, and resilience. The ability to learn on your own terms, when, where, and how you want, is a powerful skill that anyone can cultivate. It opens doors to new knowledge, broadens perspectives, and empowers you to shape your life according to your own goals and dreams. The idea of learning on your own terms challenges many common misconceptions. Some people believe that meaningful learning requires expensive degrees or formal institutions, while others feel overwhelmed by where to start or how to stay motivated. Yet, learning is fundamentally a human drive, a natural curiosity that thrives when nurtured in the right environment. By embracing accessible resources, developing curiosity, and setting personal goals, you can create a rich, personalized learning journey that fits your lifestyle and aspirations. One of the biggest advantages of learning on your own terms is accessibility. Today, countless free or affordable resources are available at your fingertips: videos, podcasts, blogs, online courses, local workshops, community libraries, and more. These resources cover virtually every topic imaginable, from technical skills like coding and graphic design, to soft skills like communication, creativity, and emotional intelligence. With just an internet connection or a visit to your local library, you can explore subjects that excite you or enhance your professional toolkit without the burden of expensive tuition or rigid schedules. Moreover, learning on your own terms allows you to pace yourself according to your unique needs and circumstances. Unlike traditional education where progress is often dictated by semesters or exams, self-directed learning is flexible. You can dive deeply into a subject when time allows, and pause when life demands your attention elsewhere. This autonomy fosters a deeper sense of ownership and motivation, because you decide what to learn based on your interests and immediate needs, not external pressures. However, accessibility and flexibility alone do not guarantee successful learning. Developing curiosity and adaptability is crucial to making lifelong learning a sustainable habit. Curiosity is the fuel that drives exploration and discovery. It's a mindset of openness and wonder that invites you to ask questions, seek new experiences, and challenge your assumptions. When you cultivate curiosity, learning becomes less about checking boxes and more about enriching your understanding of the world and yourself. Adaptability complements curiosity by helping you navigate a fast-changing environment. The pace of technological innovation, shifts in the job market, and cultural transformations require a willingness to unlearn outdated information and embrace new ideas. Learning on your own terms means being comfortable with uncertainty and experimentation. It's about developing resilience when faced with challenges, and being proactive in updating your skills or knowledge to stay relevant and fulfilled. To harness the full potential of self-directed learning, setting clear learning goals is essential. Goals give your learning purpose and direction. Without goals, it's easy to get lost in the vast sea of information or become overwhelmed by competing interests. Effective learning goals are specific, meaningful, and aligned with your dreams. For example, rather than vaguely saying, "I want to learn photography," a clearer goal might be, "I want to master portrait lighting techniques within 3 months," or "I want to build a portfolio for freelance work by year-end." This clarity guides your choice of resources, helps you measure progress, and keeps motivation high. Goal setting also encourages you to break down learning into manageable chunks. Large ambitions can feel daunting, but when divided into smaller, achievable milestones, they become more approachable. Celebrate these small victories. They build confidence and momentum. Remember that learning is not a race, but a journey that evolves with your needs and circumstances. Beyond setting goals, developing a personalized learning strategy can enhance effectiveness. This includes choosing the right resources, creating a conducive environment, and adopting learning techniques suited to your style. For example, some people learn best through visual materials like videos and infographics, while others prefer reading, hands-on practice, or discussion. Experiment with different approaches to discover what resonates most with you. Active learning, engaging with material through note-taking, summarizing, teaching others, or applying concepts, is generally more effective than passive consumption. Curating your own curriculum from a mix of sources helps you build a comprehensive skill set tailored to your ambitions. For instance, if you want to improve your digital marketing skills, you might combine online courses, blogs from industry experts, podcasts featuring successful marketers, and practical projects like creating social media campaigns. This varied approach keeps learning interesting and integrates theory with practice. A valuable habit in learning on your own terms is reflection. Taking time to review what you've learned, how you've applied it, and what questions remain deepens understanding. Reflection also helps you identify gaps or shifts in your interests, enabling you to adjust your learning path. Journaling, discussion groups, or simply setting aside quiet time for thought can enhance this process. Learning is also enriched by community. While independent learning emphasizes autonomy, connecting with others who share your interests adds social support, motivation, and feedback. Online forums, study groups, local clubs, or workshops offer opportunities to exchange ideas, ask questions, and find mentors. Sharing knowledge reinforces your own learning and builds a network of support for your growth. As you navigate your learning journey, you may encounter challenges such as procrastination, information overload, or self-doubt. These obstacles are normal, but developing strategies to overcome them is part of becoming a lifelong learner. Breaking tasks into smaller steps, setting deadlines, limiting distractions, and reminding yourself of your goals can help maintain focus. If you feel stuck, seeking feedback or guidance from others can provide fresh perspectives and encouragement. Another key to sustainable learning is balancing breadth and depth. While exploring new topics broadens your horizons, delving deeply into a few core areas builds expertise and confidence. Depending on your goals, you may cycle between phases of exploration and specialization. This balance keeps your learning dynamic and aligned with evolving ambitions. The impact of learning on your own terms extends beyond acquiring knowledge or skills. It fosters a mindset of growth, curiosity, and empowerment that spills into other areas of life. When you take charge of your education, you also cultivate confidence in your ability to adapt and thrive. This confidence can boost your career prospects, improve your relationships, and enhance your overall well-being. Moreover, learning on your own terms is a practice of self-respect and self-care. It acknowledges that your time, interests, and pace matter. It frees you from the pressure to conform to traditional timelines or expectations, allowing you to honor your unique path. This personalized approach to growth nurtures passion and joy in learning, making it a lifelong source of enrichment rather than a chore. Finally, consider the broader implications of lifelong learning in a world that increasingly values flexibility, creativity, and problem-solving. Employers and societies alike recognize that the ability to learn quickly and continuously is a critical skill. By investing in yourself through self-directed learning, you future-proof your career and open up possibilities for innovation and leadership. In practical terms, start small. Identify one area you want to learn about, and find a free or affordable resource that fits your style. Set a realistic goal for what you want to achieve in a set time frame. Schedule regular time in your week for learning, even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes a day. Track your progress, and reflect on what you enjoy or find challenging. Over time, build on this momentum by exploring new topics or deepening your expertise. Remember, the journey of learning on your own terms is uniquely yours. There is no single right way to learn, and the path will evolve with your interests and circumstances. What matters most is that you keep moving forward, fueled by curiosity and guided by purpose. Embrace the freedom to learn when, where, and how you choose, and watch how it transforms not only your knowledge but your confidence, opportunities, and joy in life. Chapter 10: Staying Motivated and Overcoming Setbacks. Motivation is often called the fuel that powers our goals and ambitions. It's the spark that pushes us to get started, the energy that keeps us moving forward, and the resilience that helps us bounce back when things get tough. Yet motivation is not a constant, unchanging force. It fluctuates naturally over time, influenced by our circumstances, mindset, and even our physical state. Understanding these cycles and learning how to reignite your drive when it fades are essential for long-term success and fulfillment. Motivation can be likened to a wave rather than a steady flame. There are times when you feel energized and enthusiastic, eager to tackle challenges and explore new possibilities. During these high moments, progress seems effortless, and the path ahead looks bright. But motivation inevitably dips. Life throws obstacles your way, progress slows, or you encounter setbacks that shake your confidence. At these times, motivation can feel elusive, and doubts creep in, tempting you to give up or settle for less than you truly want. Recognizing that motivation ebbs and flows is the first step toward mastering it. Instead of blaming yourself for losing steam, you can learn to anticipate these cycles and prepare strategies to navigate the lows. This mindset shift transforms motivation from a mysterious force into something manageable and renewable. At its core, motivation comes from two sources: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation arises from within. It's driven by passion, curiosity, personal values, and the satisfaction you gain from the activity itself. When you are intrinsically motivated, the work feels meaningful and enjoyable, regardless of external rewards. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, is influenced by outside factors such as praise, money, recognition, or deadlines. While extrinsic motivators can be powerful, relying solely on them often leads to burnout or loss of interest once the reward disappears. To stay motivated in the long run, nurturing intrinsic motivation is vital. This begins with reconnecting to your why, the deeper reason behind your goals. When you remember why you started a journey in the first place, especially when the path gets difficult, motivation renews itself naturally. For example, if you are learning a new skill, remind yourself of the freedom or confidence it will bring rather than just the skill's immediate challenge. If your goal is related to health, focus on the joy of feeling energetic and strong, not just the weight loss target. Setting meaningful, aligned goals that resonate with your values also strengthens intrinsic motivation. Goals that come from external pressures or expectations rarely sustain your drive over time. Instead, take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you, and craft goals that connect with your personal vision of a fulfilling life. When your goals are authentic, even small wins feel rewarding and motivate you to keep going. One of the most challenging aspects of staying motivated is learning how to bounce back from failure and discouragement. Setbacks are inevitable on any meaningful journey. Projects don't always go as planned, mistakes happen, and sometimes progress stalls despite your best efforts. The key is not to avoid failure because that is impossible, but to develop resilience in its face. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It is a skill that can be cultivated through mindset and practice. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of your worth or ability, see it as a valuable feedback mechanism. Each setback provides information on what didn't work and offers clues on how to adjust your approach. When you frame failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end, motivation naturally renews because you are focused on learning and growth, not defeat. An important tool in overcoming discouragement is self-compassion. It's common to be harsh on yourself when things go wrong, criticizing every mistake or feeling like you're not good enough. But this negative self-talk drains motivation and increases stress. Treating yourself with kindness, understanding that setbacks are part of the human experience, and forgiving your imperfections create emotional safety. This safety allows you to take risks and keep moving forward even after disappointment. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, is another powerful strategy to maintain motivation. Progress is the engine of motivation. When you see tangible evidence that your efforts are producing results, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical associated with pleasure and reward. This creates a positive feedback loop that encourages continued action. Many people overlook small achievements because they are focused solely on the end goal. However, acknowledging incremental steps validates your effort and builds confidence. For example, if you are writing a book, celebrating finishing a chapter or even a page reinforces your commitment. If you are developing healthier habits, recognizing a day or week of success motivates you to sustain them. These celebrations don't have to be grand. Simple acknowledgments, journaling accomplishments, or sharing wins with supportive friends can make a big difference. Patience and perseverance are essential companions on the journey of motivation. In a culture that often values instant results and overnight success, it's easy to become frustrated when progress is slow or invisible. Yet mastery, growth, and meaningful change rarely happen quickly or linearly. They require consistent effort over time, and the willingness to persist despite challenges. Cultivating patience means accepting that setbacks, delays, and plateaus are natural parts of growth. It involves trusting the process, even when immediate results are not apparent. Perseverance means continuing to take action day after day, even when motivation is low. This commitment builds habits, expertise, and momentum that eventually lead to breakthroughs. One way to develop patience and perseverance is by focusing on the process rather than just the outcomes. When you immerse yourself in the present moment and find satisfaction in the effort itself, whether it's practicing a skill, learning new information, or caring for your well-being, you reduce anxiety about the future and increase motivation. This approach also helps you remain flexible and open to adjusting your path as needed. Additionally, creating routines and rituals around your goals supports sustained motivation. Consistency beats intensity over time. Small daily actions create a rhythm that becomes part of your identity and lifestyle. For example, dedicating 10 minutes each morning to meditation or journaling can ground you emotionally and mentally for the day ahead. Regular exercise, scheduled learning sessions, or creative time all contribute to a structure that encourages perseverance. It's important to acknowledge the role of mindset in motivation. Beliefs about your abilities, your worthiness of success, and your relationship with failure all influence how you respond to challenges. Developing a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort and learning, strengthens motivation by framing obstacles as opportunities. When you believe that you can improve with practice, setbacks are temporary and solvable, which keeps you engaged. Mindfulness and emotional awareness also play a critical role in managing motivation. Often, we get caught in negative emotional cycles that drain energy. Learning to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment allows you to identify when motivation is flagging and why. Are you tired, overwhelmed, or fearful? Naming these emotions gives you the power to respond rather than react. Simple practices like deep breathing, meditation, or short breaks can restore balance and clarity. Another key to staying motivated is social support. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage, inspire, and hold you accountable creates a positive environment. Sharing your goals and progress with others reduces isolation and increases commitment. Constructive feedback from trusted friends, mentors, or communities can help you navigate difficulties and celebrate milestones. Sometimes, just knowing that someone believes in you provides a powerful motivational boost. Ultimately, motivation is a skill to be cultivated, not a fixed trait you either have or don't. It requires ongoing attention, intentional strategies, and self-awareness. By understanding motivation's natural cycles, nurturing your intrinsic reasons, embracing failure as growth, celebrating progress, and cultivating patience and perseverance, you build a sustainable foundation for success. As you move forward, remember that motivation is not about perfection or constant high energy. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it's hard, and trusting that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your vision. Your drive will ebb and flow, but with these tools and mindset you can reignite your spark whenever it dims, keep momentum alive, and turn setbacks into powerful comebacks. The journey of staying motivated and overcoming setbacks is ultimately a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. It teaches you that your potential is not limited by temporary obstacles, and that perseverance fueled by purpose and self-compassion can turn dreams into reality. Keep moving, keep believing, and remember that every day is a new opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Conclusion: your self-growth journey starts today. As you reach the end of this book, it's important to take a moment to reflect on everything you've explored and learned. Self-growth is a vast and dynamic journey, and what you've absorbed here is just the beginning. The key takeaway is this: self-growth isn't reserved for the privileged few or those with endless resources. It belongs to everyone. It is accessible, practical, and powerful, no matter where you start from. Throughout these chapters, you've discovered essential skills and mindsets, cultivating a growth mindset, managing your money without stress, building confidence from within, mastering your time, communicating effectively, growing your income with smart opportunities, nurturing healthy habits, building supportive relationships, learning continuously on your own terms, and staying motivated through life's inevitable setbacks. Each of these areas contributes to a richer, fuller life. Together, they form a foundation that supports you in becoming your best self. One of the most liberating ideas you can take away is the cumulative power of small, consistent improvements. Growth does not demand radical overnight transformations. Instead, it unfolds gradually through tiny daily choices and actions. When you commit to even the smallest positive step each day, whether it's reading a page of a book, saving a few coins, practicing a confident posture, or simply saying no to distractions, you are building momentum. Over weeks, months, and years, these incremental gains compound into profound changes. This principle of small steps, big impact should reshape how you view progress. It removes the pressure of perfection and grand gestures. You don't need to overhaul your life in a single leap. Instead, focus on what is manageable and sustainable. Celebrate your small wins and allow them to fuel your enthusiasm for the next step. This approach makes self-growth not only achievable, but also deeply rewarding. Equally important is embracing self-growth as an ongoing, joyful practice, not a chore or a race. Growth is not a destination you reach and then stop. Life itself is dynamic and ever-changing, and so is your potential. Each season will bring new challenges and opportunities for learning. Rather than viewing self-improvement as a series of tasks to check off, see it as a lifelong adventure. This mindset turns obstacles into invitations and setbacks into lessons. It cultivates curiosity and openness to new possibilities. Self-growth also becomes more joyful when you align it with your authentic values and passions. When your goals resonate with what truly matters to you, the journey feels meaningful and energizing. You're no longer pushing yourself out of obligation or comparison with others, but moving toward a vision that excites and inspires you. This internal alignment nurtures motivation and resilience even in tough times. A vital insight you've likely embraced is that self-growth requires kindness, especially toward yourself. The path will include mistakes, moments of doubt, and occasional setbacks. How you respond to these moments shapes your trajectory. Self-compassion, the practice of treating yourself with the same understanding and care you would offer a close friend, allows you to recover from challenges without losing momentum. It breaks the cycle of harsh self-criticism that drains energy and undermines confidence. This compassion also includes acknowledging your humanity. You are not meant to be perfect. You are a work in progress, beautifully flawed and wonderfully capable of change. When you release the need to be flawless, you free up space to learn, experiment, and grow. This acceptance invites patience and perseverance, both of which are essential ingredients in the recipe of lasting success. You might be wondering if all this effort is really worth it. The answer is a resounding yes. The benefits of self-growth ripple out across every dimension of your life. As your mindset evolves, you experience greater emotional resilience and optimism. As you refine your financial habits, stress diminishes and freedom expands. Building confidence opens doors to new relationships and opportunities. Mastering your time enhances your productivity and satisfaction. Improved communication deepens connections. Increasing your income broadens your options. Healthy habits nurture your body and mind. A strong network provides support. Lifelong learning keeps your mind agile and adaptable. And motivation helps you navigate life's ups and downs with courage. Together, these skills and mindsets create a life that feels richer, not just in money but in meaning, connection, and self-worth. This richness is not about external validation or material possessions. It's about feeling empowered to steer your own course, to handle challenges with grace, and to embrace each day as an opportunity to become more of who you want to be. It's crucial to remember that self-growth does not require wealth, privilege, or special circumstances. You do not need a perfect environment or ideal conditions to start making positive changes. What you do need is the willingness to begin right now where you are. Every person, regardless of background, has the potential to develop new skills, shift limiting beliefs, and create habits that support their goals. The tools and strategies you have learned in this book are designed to be practical, affordable, and adaptable to your unique situation. Starting today, you can commit to small, intentional actions that build your confidence, knowledge, and resilience. Perhaps it's journaling your thoughts for 5 minutes, reviewing your expenses, practicing mindful breathing, reaching out to a new contact, or setting a learning goal for the week. These steps may seem minor in isolation, but their cumulative effect over time is transformative. You are not alone on this journey. Self-growth is a shared human experience, connecting us across cultures and generations. Every step you take forward contributes not only to your own life, but to the ripple effect you have on those around you. As you grow, you inspire others to do the same. This collective movement toward greater awareness, kindness, and empowerment is what fuels positive change in the world. As you close this book, take a deep breath and acknowledge the courage it takes to invest in yourself. You are worthy of time, effort, and care. Your dreams and goals are valid and achievable. Your future is not fixed by your past or present circumstances, but shaped by the choices you make starting today. The journey ahead will not always be easy, but it will be worthwhile. There will be days when motivation feels strong and progress seems clear. There will be other days when doubts creep in and setbacks challenge your resolve. When those difficult moments arise, return to the lessons you've learned here. Reconnect with your why. Practice kindness toward yourself. Celebrate your small wins. Stay patient and persevere. In time, you will look back and see how far you have come. You will recognize the strength you have built, the wisdom you have gained, and the freedom you have created. Your life will reflect the commitment you have made to your growth, not as a burden but as a gift. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You only need to be intentional. Each day is a new opportunity to take a step forward, no matter how small. Self-growth is not a privilege reserved for a few. It is a right and a possibility for all who dare to embrace it. So start today. Choose to believe in your capacity to change. Choose to invest in yourself with patience and joy. Choose to make your life richer inside and out by committing to this ongoing journey of growth. Your self-growth journey starts now, and the possibilities are endless. Thank you for reading this book. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to leave us a review. Margaret Light. Disclaimer. This book was created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. While every effort has been made to ensure the accuracy and relevance of the content, readers should note that the ideas and perspectives presented are generated by AI and should not be considered professional advice. Readers are encouraged to apply their own judgment and consult experts where needed.